Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to the racing line for once again another round of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. We are on round 9 already, can you believe it? Round 9 out of 12. It has been a long time, 9 pure weeks of racing, 10 if you count the pre-season test day, and here we are at Silverstone, the national layout, and as you can see, a fairly simple looking circuit. There's no hills. It's pretty flat. As I can see, someone is just driven over the grass. They are, what was the phrase? Tossing the salad, and they've blown their engine. There they go. That was Henry Morse being a little joker there in the Pulsar's car in the background. But yeah, you can see the circuit there on your screens. It's pretty much just a triangle with a little bit of a curve around there. Only 6 corners. Not many braking zones. I'm Jack Johns. I'm in the commentary booth. We are ready for this. They're about to start qualifying. Practice has just ended out there, so let's get rid of this. We want to see what is happening. How long have we got left? There we go. 8 minutes of qualifying begins. You can see all the cars there on the right hand side of the screen, and off they go. I asked who are you guys rooting for. I can see some people have joined the stream already, both on YouTube and Twitch. We have Cadared is fully rooting for Chris inverted commas Hotel Smith. Chris Hotel Smith. That joke is purely because Chris is racing in a hotel today. He's packed away his steering wheel, ladies and gentlemen. He's packed away his pedals. He's dragged them through a hotel lobby, and he is staying in a hotel room away for work. And he's managed to set it up, and he's running on 4G. And away he is. He is here today. He is racing. Funkmaster Greg has popped in and said, "Let's go, Bob." So he is supporting Martin Wallace. We need to go through the order of the championship points before we get started. Good evening, gents. This is Zero Forks Giving Racing. Hello, thank you for joining. These are all on Twitch. Where's the YouTube chat at? You need to catch these guys up already. Wow, nearly 2 minutes into qualifying. You can see the 3 Pulsar's cars have all come out together. We were having some livery issues earlier. Let's see if they have been fixed. Yes, they have. Some cars having a different paint job earlier in practice, but that has now solved itself, which is good. So we are ready. As we can see, the Masters of Torque cars also together. This is going to be a close one, people. One of the closest races, I reckon, that we are going to see, barring any accidents. We hope that they don't happen too regularly. Definitely don't want it to happen. But slipstream heavy, this circuit. And you can see that these guys, well, Jake's leading this train, but they're going to be focusing on getting that best lap time they can by following the guy in front. So Jake leading this train, fairly confident without any slipstream, but I'm sure he'll try and get a slipstream lap. And Gal says Rachie Panda 1. Yes, wink face indeed, ladies and gentlemen obviously watching this stream. Championship order. Let's have a look as they set the first times now. 107.2. There's no grip on these first laps, by the way. Literally, first lap, very slidey. Second lap, slightly better grip. And then the third lap and fourth lap is where the lap times will show. Constructors Championship. Here it is. This is where we're at after 9 rounds of racing. Pulsar's Esports, you've got to say, looking to potentially have the Constructors wrapped up fairly soon. After this round, the drop rounds will come into play. 12 rounds in total. 3 rounds will be dropped. Your 3 worst scoring rounds. But you've got to say, Pulsar's Esports consistently in the points, and it's showing so far. However, the battle for second is definitely hotting up. Win It or Bin It, 681. ORD, 656. Masters of Torque just 3 points behind with 653. So those 3 all fighting for second place. Meatball Lovers, a solid 5th with 493 points. Nearly 100 points ahead of Lurchus Gaming, who are quite far ahead also of All Sports Racing. Although All Sports Racing have 2 drivers, and JP Simsheds with 223 has 1 driver. So that is the Constructors standings. But everyone's here to support their favourite driver, and it's the all-important Drivers' Championship. Let's have a look where we're at with that. Here's what it looks like, people. Amaze. Just sit and look in awe at the championship order. Here it is. Jake Cranston for Masters of Torque leads the way with 438 points. Just 30 points behind is Stephen King. 1 round down, though. Didn't show up for a round, did Stephen King, in round 2, I think. And only 30 points behind, so it's looking close, especially when drop rounds come into play. John Bailiff, a solid contender, Really consistent. He's up there with 317. And look at this for a driver's standings. 317 points for John Bailiff. Donny Alfred Henriksen, 304. 2 points behind him is Henry Morse. 1 point behind him is Ryan Smith. Those 4 drivers fighting for a top 3 step. Jared Kaler in 7th with 285. Christopher Smith, 249. 4 points behind him is Joshua Germany. An early strong showing from Josh. He's looking to improve on some strong results this time round. Jeremy Agard 10th with 235. Kieran Dempsey 3 points behind in 11th. And Andy Fox with 225 in 12th. Ray Oliver 13th with 223. Ika Lequay 195. 3 points behind him is Morgan Burkhardt in 15th. Martin Wallace is currently 16th in the standings, joint with Jesus Amundere. Two guys who regularly bring their fan base with them, actually. We can see Zero Forks giving in the chat supporting Martin Wallace with 139 points. And Jesus Amundere, the Lurchers Gaming boys and girls, normally support Jesus in the chat as well with 139 points. Let's see if he can extend that. Charles Rainford not with us again, but with 132 points. He was a strong contender, but is working hard, and we have missed him for a few races. Dan Thornton 106 points, so he's closing that gap. He's had a couple of good races, actually, has Dan. So it's good to see him claiming those points and in the 100 mark. Looking to cross that 100 barrier today is also Sebastian Holmichael and Peter Jones for the Meatball Lovers team, 95 and 94 points respectively. Great showing from them. Jan Weiswanger 72 points, Orlando Herald 67 points, Christian Ribeiro 61 points, Oliver Teglu still there with 54 points, and Tyne van Wittenbauer and Thomas Berlin looking to catch Oliver up with 40 and 38 points. And we've got Esben Kim Jan down there with Jack Lewin and Samuel Tully at the bottom end of the grid, who we haven't seen for a while. If ever, actually. We saw Sam Tully for one event, bless him. Hello all, looking forward to a good race. Let's go Bob, we're always here with Jesus, says Figuelthio. Yes, always here to support. And look at this, now we can start looking at those qualifying times. And as I said, it's going to be a close one. 18 drivers separated by 0.8 of a second. That is absolute madness. Jeremy Agard is currently sitting in pole position on outright pace, being towed by his teammate Jake Cranston, who currently sits in second, only 1/10 behind. Henry Morse is in the pits, also 1/10 behind, as is Kieran Dempsey in fourth. 2/10 behind is Jesus Amundere, P5 on pace. Morgan Burkhardt, P6. I'll tell you what, we were chatting with the drivers earlier before this, as Kieran Dempsey puts it on pole. 400ths ahead of Jeremy Agard. Where is Kieran? Let's have a look at where he's sitting. I'll tell you what, let's go on board with Kieran Dempsey. Didn't look like he was following anyone that closely, was Kieran, to set that lap time. That is interesting. Well, do you know what? I've completely lost track of what I was saying. Oh yes, bold predictions. Talking to the drivers before this, and they fully reckon with how close this circuit's going to be because of the slipstream and because of how small the circuit is, how little amount of corners there are. Let me know what you think, but we are potentially going to have a new race winner today. We've had a few race winners. Rachie Panda says, let's go Chris Smith. We've had a few race winners in the series so far, but can we have another new race winner? The bold prediction from Stephen King was, our new race winner today is actually going to be someone who may have never had a podium. Now that is a bold prediction, I can tell you that much. Qualifying has just ticked over. That is the end. I think it's going to depend on qualifying. This is a tough place to pass with a field this close. Yes, Zero Forks Given Racing, you are correct. That is qualifying over and done with, and it was a close one indeed. The grid, as it were, preferably from first place. Here we go. Kieran Dempsey takes pole position then with a 106.1. Fast lap time indeed. 0.5 behind is Jeremy Agard, who locks out the front row. John Bailiff and Jake Cranston on the second row, within the 10th mark. Henry Morse, Ryan Smith on the third row. Jesus Amundere is up in P7. That's a strong start for Jesus. Morgan Burkhardt, P8. Christian Ribeiro, P9. Joshua Germany, P10. Martin Wallace, P11. Peter Jones, P12. And let's have a look at the rest of the order. Ray Oliver, P13. P14 for Donny Alpha Henriksen. P15 for Sebastian Hallmichael. Ika Lequay, P16. Christopher Smith, P17. Andy Fox, P18. Dan Thornton, P19. Orlando Herald, P20. 21st for Jan Weiswanger. And Stephen King didn't get a lap in down there in 22nd place. I'm sure. I wonder what happened to him. And then we've got Jared Kaler and Tyne van den Wittenbauer, who has actually served a quali ban today after some misconduct last time round in Road America. But to save going into too much detail about that, we shall move on. That is our grid. We can see them all there. They're lining up. They're ready for the race. Kieran Dempsey's your pole man. There he is. Look at that. Oh, do you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited. Yeezus top 10. Oh my god, yeah. And on raw pace as well, without a reverse grid to help him for Guelfio. So this is going to be interesting. Zero Forks Given Racing, though, has a very good point about it being difficult to pass here. And hopefully we can see some clean attempts at passes. We do want to see a clean race. As we can see, I'm just trying to find. That's pretty much the most decent camera angle we have of this start. Unless we go, I'll tell you what, the chopper's going to do some work today as the lights come on. Here they go. We're getting ready. 4 lights, 5 lights, and the green lights are out, and away they go. Big wheel spin from all the guys at the front. Look at this. So it's very close as they head towards the fast right-hander of turn 1. A breakaway of 4 cars. That's the Masters of Torque cars looking like they're going to follow each other. That's a nice shot of a building. John Bailiff is on the inside of Jake Cranston. That is. Yeah, Jake Cranston going around the outside, sorry, of John Bailiff, following Jeremy Agard down towards turn 2. And now that is John Bailiff tucking behind Kieran Dempsey, who's leading this race. So it's 2 by 2 as they head towards turn, well, I don't even know what turn this is, 2 or 3. And Kieran Dempsey now having a clear lead with John Bailiff losing that slipstream. Kieran Dempsey using all of the track available. There are no track limits here at on that turn, on the exit of turn 3. They can use as much of it as they want. And look at this, they go 3 wide already. We've only just started, lads. It's lap 1, 47 seconds in. And we're going 3 wide in towards Luffield. Here they go. Can Kieran break late and hold that inside line? John Bailiff's on the outside of Jeremy Agard, not 3 wide. There's another 3 wide, and a Lurchus Gaming car is off in the background. You know who that is, fans. That's Yeezus Amundere. Unfortunately, he's been spun round, tagged round at the end. We'll have to have a look at a replay of that, as well as an all-sports car going off back there as they come around the final stretch and onto the main straight. Now this is going to be action all the way. I'm going to struggle to find times to look at the replays, but look at this. Lots of battles all the way. For Guelfio says no, Morse is the greatest of all time. Lots of comments on Twitch. Come on, YouTube people, where are you at as they come flying through the fast turn 1. This is Henry Morse, currently in P6, -1 position. Morgan Burkhardt is up 3 positions. He's had a flying start. We need to have a look at what happened, as we're going to see a Masters of Torque car look up the inside. There was a bit of a punt there, I think, from Henry Morse on Morgan Burkhardt, potentially in the braking zone, but he's got the move done. We've been over this. Oh, that's all the comments. I'll tell you what, you guys chat to yourself. I need to keep my eyes on the screen. Yeezus Amundere, unfortunately, is in the pit lane, so it looks like his race is fairly over, as there's big contact back there. Who is that? Not Martin Wallace, again involved in a big crash on a straight as well. We need to have a look at what's been going on. So Yeezus Amundere, what happened to him? This is coming down the back straight. Oh dear, that potentially was a knock-on effect of Joshua Germany. Let's have another quick look at that. Did Joshua Germany there in the Pulsars car hit the back of Christian Ribeiro, who then hit Yeezus into the gravel? It looks like that was the case. A potential another penalty coming Joshua Germany's way there. We then actually saw Orlando Herald go off track at some point. Was this to do with anyone else? Or was he just... Oh, he's outbroke himself. So no, Orlando was fine. He's just broken really late. Peter Jones had an issue. Was this with contact with someone else? Or is this the one at the main straight? Or was this into turn 3? It's round turn 1 here. Oh, it's just a nice, safe off track. That's okay, but there was a big crash, and here it is. Oh, we just saw the later phase of that. Let's have a look at this and break this down. Still can't quite get what happened there. Oh my god, it's a full sandwich. Oh, that is Singapore all over. Look at the poor Meatball Lovers car getting squashed with Martin Wallace and Christopher Smith. That is potentially a racing incident, but it's a big crash, and it's taken out 3 strong drivers. Maybe Yeezus is refueling. Not in the sprint race, we don't want refueling, but that is very unfortunate for those 3. Big pincer movement. We need to go back live and see what has been happening, because there has been changes up the front. We need to see. Here's John Bailiff in the lead, and he's got Jake Cranston for company all over his gearbox. This is what it looks like behind John. You actually can't see Jake, who's currently side by side, and he's going to pass him around the outside. There he goes. He's looking around the outside of turn 3. Can he get that done? Not quite, although he might have a run down the straight now. Kieran Dempsey's right behind. This is what it looks like from Kieran Dempsey's point of view. That's John Bailiff in front, the number 22. Jake Cranston is on the left, and it looks like he's made a move for the lead. Stephen King, who for some reason started in 22nd place, he's up 10 places into 11th now. 4 seconds off of this battle for the lead. He's not going to be happy about that. This view. We don't want this view. We want to see what it looks like. This is what it looks like inside. You can see him using the steering wheel there. He's all over the back of John Bailiff here. It's Christian Ribeiro. He's gone off track. What happened to him? That's Andy Fox. That's not Christian. Oh, there was Christian, though. Oh, Dan Thornton very late on the brakes. Contact. Christian goes round. Dan brakes, lets him have the position back. And Christian carries on with his race. Back live. What's going on up the front? Kieran Dempsey still right behind John Bailiff, with Jake Cranston out in front. They can't let Jake run away. I imagine the league stewards are going to have a bit to say about that three-man squeeze. Possibly. It's going to be difficult to actually see what happened, but Jake Cranston has just been passed by John Bailiff up the inside. This is on board with Jake Cranston. John is now going to cover the inside line all the way down this main straight. Look at the slipstream on Jake Cranston's car. Can Jake go round the outside? We need to have an off-board of this. He's got the move done before the braking zone. Look at that. Easily done. And Kieran Dempsey's going to come through as well. John Bailiff is now on the outside for Luffield. That's not a good place to be. Morgan Burkhardt goes round. Oh, is he going to come back on in? Oh, that would have been close. I wonder if Jeremy Agard would have had a squeaky bum moment there for sure. That would have been really tight. Joshua Germany's up in P7. As we said, he might get a penalty for the contact earlier in the steward's room after the race. Equal in P16. So Lurch's Gaming looking like they were fighting for a strong result. And all of a sudden, it's all come undone for the Lurch's Gaming team. But you've got to say, looking at the distance, all the Jettas still fairly close together in this race. After, obviously, an issue with Yeezus, Donny and Chris, who are now well down the order. They're going to be looking for a strong feature. 6 minutes in. Oh, I can't keep up. Jake Cranston now an 8/10 lead. 9/10. It's extending a second. Are these guys fighting too hard? Is Jake going to run away with this sprint race start? I got one comment on YouTube from Ellen Brown. I have no words. Talk about tenths. Bye Morgan, says Tormin in the chat. That was when Morgan went for a little off-track moment by himself. The gap, they need to be careful here because that gap's just extending out front. Look at this. As Morgan Burkhardt tries to have a look around the outside of Jeremy Agard there. They're all coming round Luffield. Still a little bit of a train. Jake fully pulling away. Look at now, we got some trains forming. Here's the second train. Stephen King leading this one, trying to catch up to the rest of the order. Currently P10, Stephen King, up 12 places. That's Andy Fox behind. Oh, do you know what? I was looking at the wrong Pulsar's car. The lead car in this train is actually Joshua Germany. So Stephen King on the back of this train. And there was another train back there somewhere, yeah, led by Jared Kaler. Comes around turn one. There's a lot of smoke up ahead. But no spins. Just a big lock-up. It's a very fast corner, turn one. Carrying a lot of speed through there. And the tyres clearly getting murdered through there as Dan Thornton's on the inside of Sebastian Holmichael. And keeps that position. I think Sebastian was threatening. Look at him using all the track way over the white line. It doesn't matter. You guys are filling the chat up. Just talking to each other. Talking about Henry Morse because of his hot car, as it were. This is Jared Kaler in his not safe for work livery. Gap at the front still not closing. This is what we want to see. The intervals. This is where how close the battles are on track now on the left-hand side of your screen. So John Bailiff, though, still putting under the pressure for Kieran Dempsey. But Henry Morse is right behind him. We know what Henry Morse's nickname is now, the Sprint Race Ninja. But you've got to say, we're past the halfway mark now. Can the Sprint Race Ninja pass these two cars, chase down Jake Cranston and steal the win on the last lap again, as he has done many times before? John Bailiff, though, looking for a strong result, chasing down Kieran Dempsey. He's all over the back of that Irish car. Morgan Burkhardt is still well in this race, even with a little off-track by himself. Jeremy Agard's quite high up, although he has lost 4 positions from his qualifying time. We knew it was going to be tight. Joshua Germany's in P7 with Peter Jones right behind him. I tell you what, Peter Jones is having a hell of a race. It's not been often that we've seen him up here, but here he is, up in P8. He qualified quite highly. He is up 4 positions, though, is Peter Jones. So he's having a hell of a race. And look at this battle behind. I tell you what, this will be a close dice. Stephen King and Ryan Smith. Ryan, an extremely clean but strong racer. That is going to be a battle to watch, actually. But do you know what? I forgot to mention about the feature race. Obviously, we know by now, if you've been following the season so far, we have a 15-minute sprint race followed by a 25-minute feature race. And in that feature race, it is a reverse grid for the top 12. So currently, Ray Oliver and Andy Fox are actually fighting. Well, they're both on the front row of the grid for the next race, but they're fighting for pole position, if you want to look at it that way. Half points available in the sprint. Double points available in the feature. But Stephen King currently would be starting third, but he's still trying to find his way up. You got to find that balance between obviously getting points in the sprint, but also giving yourself a good strong chance in the feature. You've got to say, with the amount of slipstream available on this circuit, it's not really relevant because everyone stays in the train. Everyone stays as it is. But I'll tell you what, gap has closed down. 7 tenths now between Kieran and Jake for the lead. So this train is now closing Jake Cranston for the lead. 5 minutes to go. Stephen King, really. We all know how King's books ends. We are not going to go 1 week without that joke about Stephen King, the writer. The Race Ninja says Ben Morse. That sounds like a relative. I'll tell you what, Henry's fan base has come out in force today, as has Christopher Hotel Smith, who unfortunately in this race is down in 22nd. No fault of the hotels, and mainly because he was involved in that 3-car squeeze, which was definitely very interesting. Donny's had another off-track somewhere. I wonder if that was him battling with Jesus. Here they are, both together on track. As Donny, that's a new one. Has Donny just carried too much speed through? Yes, he has. Dan Thornton's had an off-track moment. Who's he chasing? Is it again turn 1, pushing it too much? Got the foot down, and away he goes. A little bit wide, but no positions gained. Let's go back live, catching up with the action. The gap is still 8 tenths, so I said it was closing. He's holding it quite nicely as Jake Cranston. He's controlling the pace of this race. And there we have it. He's still leading. 8 tenths of a second. John Bailiff right behind Kieran. They're just waiting for an opportunity. We said it was difficult to pass. Now that it's settled down at least. We didn't want them to crash. We've seen a few crashes already. Some of them were the typical, it's the first lap and I've broken too late. However, well, one of them was actually bizarre. I never thought we'd see a 3-wide pinch in the middle. Very reminiscent of Singapore, where Verstappen was in the middle at the start and the 2 Ferraris came side by side and pinched him, and then they all went out, which is pretty much the case, I think, from what we saw. I wonder, how high can Peter Jones climb the order? He's definitely, we haven't seen, this might be his highest finish for Peter Jones up there. Look at this, John Bailiff round the outside of Kieran Dempsey into Luffield. That's going to give him the inside for the right-hander. He's going to make that stick. Nicely done by John Bailiff. Can Henry Morse now follow him through up into P3? He's right behind John. He's going to have the slipstream down the main straight. Can Kieran slot in between the 2 cars? It looks like he could fit, but it's going to be tight if he does try. Is he going to try and slot in between John Bailiff and Henry Morse? There was a little bit of contact there. He tried. He failed. Kieran's still on the outside. Henry Morse now has the inside for turn 1 with Morgan Burkhardt looking to pick up some paces. There goes Henry Morse on the inside of the fast right-hander of turn 1. Kieran Dempsey around the outside. Morgan Burkhardt in the slipstream of Kieran. So now Kieran, oh, there's someone gone off there. That would be Joshua Germany, I think, has had a little bit of a spin back there because he's now behind Stephen King, his teammate. Kieran Dempsey round the outside of turn 3, right behind Henry Morse, who's now right behind John Bailiff. The gap to John Bailiff and Jake, though, extended to 1.2 seconds. So you've got to say Jake's looking in a great position. What's Germany and King doing here today? Come on, guys, says Jodie Parker in the YouTube chat. No, not reading those comments. You can read them yourself. Martin Wallace has had another off track. Henry Morse in P3. Kieran Dempsey right behind him. This top 5 fight. Well, I say top 5. The fight for P2, extremely close. I want to find out what happened to Joshua Germany. Someone, Torment, mentioned him, or Jodie Parker mentioned him in the chat. And this is what happened. He's on the inside of Jerry Agard. Oh! Around he goes. Into the wall. Big crash for Joshua Germany. I wonder if that stemmed from Jeremy Agard's... Well, he went off track. Let's have a look at this from the blimp cam. So Josh has turned in nicely. He's over the curb. Jeremy's given him room. And then I'm guessing just with the amount of speed Josh has carried through, he's coming right out to the edge. He's already got his throttle on, and Jeremy's still there. Bit of spatial awareness needed. Around he goes, and out of this sprint race does Joshua Germany. That is a shame. We hate to see it. Up front, though, Kieran Dempsey's under pressure from Morgan Burkhardt now, whose tyres have given way first. Morgan, round the outside and onto the inside of Lovefield. We've seen that move a few times today. We're going to see it a few more. 1 minute left. Well, I say 1 minute left. This will be the last lap, I believe. We'll see the flag man at some point waving that white flag. Because then when it gets to the 15-minute mark, the checkered will be out. There's the white flag. So the white flag has been waved. This is the final lap for Jake Cranston. And here he is, in the lead of the race. Once again, we've seen it time and time again. 1 second gap. This is Henry Morse, though, fighting for P2 with John Bailiff. Oh, Henry Morse, look at this, taking a much wider line. He's trying to get the better exit out of turn 3. He's going to use all the track available. It gets bumpy out there. You actually lose a bit of time if you use that big bump. He's going to be in the slipstream. Can he get it done? It doesn't look like he's going to be close enough. Morgan Burkhardt's past Kieran Dempsey, though. He's going to try. He's in the slipstream. Can he get past John Bailiff round the final turns? Now he's not close enough. This is going to be it, I think. I'm pretty sure we're there. Jake Cranston, though, comes round the final corner. 15 minutes are up. The checkered flag is going to be out. Here they come. Jake Cranston comes across the line and wins round 9 sprint race. Does Jake Cranston, number 78, with a massive gap in the end. 1.2 seconds to John Bailiff. There he goes, and Henry Morse takes P3. Morgan Burkhardt's going to come home in P4. Kieran Dempsey right behind. Who's up next? Ryan Smith, followed by Stephen King, followed by Peter Jones. What a showing from Peter in P8, up 4 places. Jeremy Agard down 7. Andy Fox comes home in P10. Jared Kaler, P11, and Ray Oliver down there in P12. He's going to have pole position for the feature race. That is going to be a good position for Ray. But, of course, slipstream very strong here. Ika Lequay, P13. Dan Thornton, P14. Sebastian Hallmichael, P15. Joshua Germany, 16th. Jan Weiswanger, 17th. Christian Ribeiro, 18th. Tyne van den Wittenbauer got up to 19th in the end. Orlando Herald, 20th. Chris Smith down in 21st after the pinch. I wonder if I can find that. Nah, there's no way I could find that replay before the session changed over. GG Cranston, says Jodie Parker. Yes, very good. Over a second lead in the end. Very strong finish for Jake Cranston there. It's interview time. Do you know what? Throat's getting a little bit dry. Ben Morse, happy face. Henry Morse finished 3rd. Orange and black hearts from Ellen Brown. That's the Masters of Talk colours. Let's have a look at the results. Here they are. Jake Cranston takes your win in the end by 1.1 seconds for Masters of Talk. John Bailiff in P2, Henry Morse P3, Morgan Burkhardt P4, Kieran Dempsey, Ryan Smith, Stephen King, Peter Jones, Jeremy Agard, Andy Fox, Jared Kaler and Ray Oliver rounds off your top 12, who will be reversed for the following race grid. So Ray Oliver on pole, Jared Kaler starts 2nd, Andy Fox 3rd, Jeremy Agard 4th, Peter Jones 5th and Stephen King starting 6th, halfway up that field. Henry Morse, though, starting in front of Jake. I wonder if there's going to be some team tactics there. Yeah, some team tactics, potentially. Ika Lequay, 13th. Dan Thornton, 14th. Where was I on here? Sebastian Hallmichael, 15th. Joshua Germany, 16th. Jan Weiswanger, 17th. Christian Ribeiro in 18th place. And getting the last points on the grid, 19th. Tyne van den Wittenbauer. And 20th, Orlando Herald. Christopher Smith, Martin Wallace, and Donny and Jesus, the non-scorers in the sprint race. They will be looking to improve that massively in the feature. I'll tell you what, chat, if it's that close throughout the feature race for 25 minutes, you are going to need to keep an eye on that timing screen, especially down the bottom end, just in case I miss any big movers, because Chris Smith has pulled some blinders before from the back, as has Martin Wallace, as has Donny, and I'll tell you what, as has Jesus. All 4 of those drivers, plenty capable of overtaking and putting on a show in the next race. It is interview time. Saw someone mention interviews then. Who shall we speak to? Yeah, okay. Kind of agree with that. Let's pull in Joshua Germany. He had a bit of an issue towards the end of that race, and we want to hear his point of view. Joshua Germany,
That's me.
I can hear you typing. You sound frustrated.
No, I'm apologising for something that happened on that one.
Oh, are you apologising for the double punt?
The actual crash with Jeremy is just a bit frustrating because I just thought he fully, well, it looked like he was going to back out, but then didn't back out fully. So I came over towards the left-hand side of the track and then tagged my rear end and then into the wall I went.
Yeah, it was hard to see. Kind of, we saw it. We had a replay of it, and it was really hard to tell whether it just looked like one of them really annoying racing incidents. Like, obviously, we'll have a look at it after the race, but as you said, Jeremy looked like he could have backed out of it, but at the same time, you went fully left. And in hindsight, obviously now you know the result, maybe you would have left more room. But like you said, you sound extremely disappointed. But it's not over. How did you feel your pace was today?
You know what? Pretty good, to be fair. In the practice session, I was saying to everybody I didn't feel pacey at all, but managed to get a decent lap in, keep myself in that top 12. And it's just a bit of a shame because I was asking Stevie what the gap was behind him because he was in P11. I think there was like a 3-6 second gap. And to be honest, I'm expecting a penalty for the collision I had on lap 1. So I would have easily got a top 12 with that 5 seconds. So that's why I decided to battle with Jeremy. I just thought, right, if I get this 5 second, I've still got that buffer, so I can fall down because I wasn't going to do it if the gap was within 5 seconds, but he had the buffer, so I went for a battle, and it just seems like one of those things. I just expected him at the end of the race, dead tyres, just not be able to keep it there. And I'm not sure if you watched it back, but it's just the tiniest bit of his nose on my outside.
It was a very small amount. And it was one of them unfortunate contacts, wasn't it, where you just get kind of sent round. And it was a big off into the wall. Definitely would have felt it, that's for sure. In terms of the feature, like you said, you're expecting a penalty for the early crash with Christian, which ended Yeezus' race as well. But your pace is there. It's a slipstream heavy track. The train will be there. You've got 25 minutes this time and pit stops. What are you expecting in the feature?
I'm just hoping for a miracle. That's all I can say. Hopefully I can just stick in the train, just not outbrake myself, just sit behind, and then when the moves present themselves, I'll go for it and slowly try and move up the order.
No worries. You're going to watch the brakes?
Well, I'll try.
You'll be all right. Good luck in the feature, Josh. We'll speak to you soon.
No worries. Cheers, mate.
Saw another comment. That was Joshua Germany there. There was another comment to speak to Christopher Smith. So we're going to speak to we haven't even spoken to any podium finishers. We're speaking to the big losses of the race in this time round. Christopher Smith, welcome.
Yo.
Good to hear you. Nice and clear from your hotel room.
Thank you. Yes, got some signal.
Yeah. So you've got a big fan base today, it seems. A lot of people watching. We would like to know, though, we saw it briefly, didn't get to analyse it fully, but a bit of a three-way sandwich on a straight, which has ended a few people's races. Could you talk us through what happened from your point of view?
Well, just as you say, it's a bit of a racing incident, isn't it? I've seen the replay, and unfortunately 4 cars don't go into 1. Yeah, we had Stephen King coming at the inside. He qualified way down the order, fighting his way through, and then unfortunately just had a bit of a coming together with a couple of other guys, and then had a good old ding dong over position 21.
Yeah.
So me and I think it was Martin Wallace, who and I were proper scrapping over position 21 like it was life or death. Yeah,
like you said, I think it was both of you actually involved. 3 of the bigger, and Donny actually, the three biggest can't get my words out, fast-paced guys all involved in that. Donny kind of in the meeting in between the Martin and Chris bread.
I know.
But it did look like a little bit of a racing incident. I said it was reminiscent of the Singapore crash with Verstappen and the 2 Ferraris. But it's cost greatly. However, a tight field round here, difficult to overtake, but very slipstream heavy. What are we expecting for the feature? Can you climb up that order now that you'll be on the back end of everyone again?
I'm going to say absolutely.
What are you aiming for?
Here comes the podium.
Yeah, whoa, podium. That is brave.
I
wish.
I'll
tell you what.
I'll be lucky if I get top 10. We'll see.
You're aiming for top 10. That's a good result. But if you get a podium, congrats, and we'll speak to you again later. Thanks for joining us, Chris. hopefully we'll speak to you.
No
Well, we will
worries.
speak to you again soon. But good luck
Nice
with the
one.
future.
Thanks for that.
Christopher Smith there after his sandwich crash in the sprint race. I think we might have time for just a small interview this time. A quick one. Zomar Gammon, could you quickly cover Orlando punting time? So unfortunately, when the session changes over, I can't then show replays of the session before, which is it's a little bit frustrating. And if you can do that, I don't know how to. So, but I'm pretty sure you can't, which is a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, we will. I'll tell you what. I'll suggest that to the people who made the overlays because it's a feature that they should have. But I'm not sure if iRacing would allow it because obviously one session has ended and we've started the next one, which is this warm-up session, and it tends to erase everything. But it would be saved in the replay, which is how we watch it back in the steward's room afterwards. But thank you for commenting on YouTube, Zomar Gammon. We've still got some people. I'll tell you what, Henry Morse has 100% paid off his mates to come into the chat and just fill it with comments. That is what's happened tonight. Although we haven't yet hit, and we have done this before, people, although you've been spamming your little conversation together, haven't yet hit 100 comments across the two. So I guess keep going. Those of you on YouTube can see a much clearer sort of vision of what's happening because no one is spamming the YouTube chat. It's purely Twitch chat that is getting filled up with Henry's fan base. No Lurchus Gaming. We've seen a few of the Lurchus boys in there, but not as often as we have seen them before. It's time, by the way, people. It is time, and they are keen to get on the grid. Ray Oliver's on pole. Jared Kaler second, Andy Fox third, Jeremy Agard fourth, Peter Jones fifth, Stephen King sixth, Ryan Smith seventh, Kieran Dempsey eighth, Morgan Burkhardt ninth, Henry Morse 10th, John Bailiff 11th, and Jake Cranston rounding off the top 12. Ika LeQuay, Dan Thornton, Sebastian Hall, Michael Joshua Germany, Jan Weiswanger, Christian Ribeiro, Tyne van den Wittenbauer, Orlando Herald, Christopher Smith, Martin Wallace, Donny Alpha Henriksen, and Jesus Amundere round off your field. Isabel Smith says, hi, smiley face. Hello, we've reached 100 messages. There you go, you hit the target just as I said it. And that is that. It is time to watch the race. They are getting ready. Here's the blimp cam. You can't see Ray, he's behind that building. It's 1 light, it's 2 lights, it's 3 lights, it's 4 lights, and away they go. Ray Oliver's got a good start there. Jared Kaler in P2. I'll tell you what, Andy Fox, though, well in the slipstream of Ray Oliver as they come down towards turn 1. That's Jeremy Agard behind as well. But Ray looking to have a clear advantage into turn 1 as they go in. Is there going to be any crashes behind, or can they all make it through nice and safely? Well done, boys. Into turn 1. Now they're heading down towards what I would call turn 2, but it's probably technically classed as turn 3. And it's still, apart from some lunges there, that was Stephen King going up the inside of Andy Fox for P4. He's running him out wide. He can use all the track. We're not in an interview anymore. That's blocking the view. And now they're running down the straight. Here they all go. Jettas everywhere. Spaghetti of Jettas, as we have said. There they all go. Down the main straight. Kieran Dempsey is ahead of this little train. That is the 66 of Ryan Smith, well involved in this battle as well. I'll tell you what, this is a good overview of everyone. It's been nice and clean on lap 1, but Ray Oliver under pressure from Jared Kaler, who's up the inside of Luffield. He's now going to run him out wide. That was brave of Jared Kaler, knowing about that force field around Ray Oliver's car. But Jared Kaler up into the lead with Stephen King in P3. He's had a hell of a start as Stephen King up 3 places. Jeremy Agard side by side with Andy Fox. And that is Peter Jones behind, looking to get a good result. Jake Cranston currently down in 11th place. He's not taking any risks this early on. Henry Morse, though, is down in P12. So Jake already passing the Pulsar's car, so maybe team orders is not going to work out this time round. As Ray Oliver is going to have a look up the inside of turn 3 or 2, whatever you want to call it. Ray Oliver's going up the inside again, and he's going to try and take that lead back, and it looks like he might get it done with Stephen giving him a bit of a nudge. Come on, Ray. Through you go. And now, oh, they're going to go 3 wide. We've seen how this goes wrong before. Ray Oliver's going to have the inside for the fast right-hander. Left-hander, I should say, down the end of the straight. Oh, look how many cars there are. There's so many. All battling left and right. As long as it's not a vendetta of Jettas, says Liz. Yes, I agree. We don't want to see any more vendettas. It looks like they've all got used to those brakes as Ray gets a bit of a contact with Jared there, who's going to take the lead. Andy has a look up the inside of Stephen King, who's going to slot in between. That's close through Luffield. And Stephen King's going to have the run on Jared here, unless Ray gives him a bit of a push down the straight. You don't want to cut that bollard, though, on the inside, or you might risk getting a slowdown. Oh, if he gets a slowdown, that's going to be frustrating for Stephen King. He's about to make a move for the lead. You don't want to slow down. It doesn't look like he's got one. He might have got away with it, and he takes the move into P1. What a move from Stephen King. Ray Oliver still on the inside, and look at this. Jared trying to hold it around the outside. We need to have a look at this. This is on board with Ray Oliver. He's right behind Stephen King. We need a better view. Let's have a look a bit further back. This is Peter Jones. He's got 4 cars in front of him. Stephen King is going to lead into turn 3. Ray Oliver in third with Jared Kaler holding it. Oh, was there a bit of a punt there? Stephen's gone well off. He's right outside the track. Look at the road he's using. I wonder if there was a bit of contact there. He's now going to have the run down and the inside for the left-hander, who is going to come out on top in this. This is going to be tight. Sorry, I had to watch it. And they're 3 wide back there as well as Jeremy gets a slide on. And he holds it, does Jeremy. What a save from Jeremy Agard there. Maybe a small bit of contact on the rear. Not penalty worthy, really, by the looks of it. I mean, we'll have a rewatch, but maybe just a slight touch, which is going to happen when they're racing so closely. Stephen King, though, this is a hell of a battle up the front end of the grid. Well, all over the place. They're all still in a train. What can we say? We can't say the front end of the grid when they're all still well in the race. The only 2 dropping off this train at the moment is Jan Weiswanger and Tijn van den Wittenbauer, 2 and 5 seconds back off of the train. Everyone else, you got to say, is still within a second and a half. Absolute madness here for the Jetta Cup. Round 9 at Silverstone National. Ray Oliver's going to have the inside on Stephen King once again. Stephen's going to have to try and hold it around the outside. Jared Kaler's going to try and extend his lead whilst the boys battle behind. Stephen's not going to like not getting given room on the outside, but it's pretty much 2 by 2 wherever you look. You cannot argue against this. Look at this. This is Andy Fox battling. That's Jake Cranston, who's found his way. He was up in 11th at some point, and now all of a sudden he's in 5th place near the front end of the grid. That means people haven't been putting up as strong a defence as they should be. He's up 7 places, and now this is not what Stephen King wants to see. He's got his championship rival right behind him now. Let's have a look on the gearbox of Stephen King. This is what it looks like. That is Jake Cranston, the muddy bumper of Jake Cranston. That's how close it is. His championship rival is right behind him, and that is John Bailiff, who he almost cut across there as well. Not a very good view, really, in terms of racing, but here they go down towards turn 1. 2 by 2 again. Stephen King has the inside. He's going to go up into P2. Ray Oliver is going to try and hold P3 as there's a little bit of contact with John Bailiff there coming around turn 1. Jake Cranston now tucked behind Ray Oliver, so bit of a gap between the two. you guys in chat, wow, long conversations, but that's going to be very frustrating for Stephen. He's going to be fuming. He's been punted by Ray there. He's gone wide and he's lost 3 positions, but he's still in the race if he doesn't have a meatball flag. But that has given the position to Jake Cranston. Are they going to make it 4 wide in frustration? John's going to shut the gap. Oh, it's getting close there. John, do not move over if it's 3 wide. John's going to have to try and hold the inside. It looks like Ray might be giving that position back. He knows what he's done. This is all playing into the hands of Jared Kaler, though, up the front, who's now got a 1.4 second lead. But Jake Cranston, the championship rival, up into P2. Stephen's going to try and get that back, with John Bailiff now slotting in between the 2 championship leaders. Andy Fox is on the inside of Ray. Oh, and Morgan Burkhardt is also chasing him down. This is a strong result for Andy Fox. Up in P5 at the moment. Can he get his best result yet? I'm not sure. He has a podium to his name. If he can get into the top 3, it'll be the first time we've seen him up there. He's very close. Henry Morse is in P8. Where's Joshua Germany? He started near the back. Christopher Smith, for some reason, is out. We haven't seen what happened to him. I wonder if there's anything on my timing screen. Oh, there's a big punt from John Bailiff, and Jake Cranston got that. That was contact with Jake Cranston and John Bailiff, and there's another big crash back there. That was Henry Morse, who's gone round with Ray Oliver. Both of them are out the race. Oh, it's going to be a long night for the stewards' room. That potentially was a big one. We can't really see what's going on. This track, a nightmare for the cameras, but Jared Kaler's all out there by himself. Stephen King somehow found himself back up in P2. Jake Cranston just passes. Well, these two are battling side by side. I said he passes him. We need to have a look at some replays. What happened to Jan Weiswanger near the back? Bit of a touch there with Jesus Amundre. Spins round, does Jan Weiswanger. Looked like of his own making, to be honest, with a little bit of a touch. Henry Morse went off track. Who did he have a battle with? It's Ray. that's clumsy. Clumsy from the two. That just looked like a little bit of... who's going to give who room here? As they come round, Henry probably tried forcing him out of the track. He's on full throttle, so he might not have been able to... it looks like he's going to go out the outside. And look at this. Ray just comes back onto the white line and just sort of punts him round. I'm going to say that's Ray's fault on first looking at it. It looks like he just came across on Henry. He could have used the track. The briefing did say that. Stephen King went off track again. That would have been just on turn 1 by himself. I cannot see anything happen to Chris Smith on my timing screens, which is frustrating because he was going to be one to watch in this race, and he was going to climb up as high as he could. So if anyone in chat knows where Chris is, or because he's out of the race, he's done. So please do let me know. Anyone, any relatives of Chris, message him, ask him if he's okay. Is Andy Fox? I said he hasn't been on the podium before. He was looking up the inside of Stephen King there for P2. He's in P3 at the moment. He's got Jake Cranston behind him. Can he get his first podium? He was in for a win at Road America, and then he threw it away. Well, I say he threw it away. It was a mistake, and mistakes get made. But he spun on the grass, which he didn't manage to do again throughout the whole week. But he needs... Oh, it got tight there. He needs to have a strong result here as Jake Cranston's now coming back through the order after a punt earlier, which I didn't quite see whose fault that was. It looked like it might have been John who touched him, but I'm not sure if John got a touch from Stephen. We'll have to have a look later after the race. I tell you what, win it or bin it, 4th and 5th at the moment. With Martin Wallace also in the points, he's now up into 18th place. He's gained 4 positions. And now look at this, the championship battle on track again. 10ths between them, and Jared Kaler a 2.2 second lead. Madness for Jared and the rest of the train bottlenecking up as they're battling over P2. I'll tell you what, this is going to be defense 101, I imagine. These two are going to try and battle it out for the rest of the race. We're only 9 minutes in. Is it going to come down to pit stops? That's the real question. As Stephen, side by side around turn 1, he's going to run him out a little bit. He's going to be careful with damage as they all come flying through. Here they all are. Jake moves across on him there. If that's a meatball, that is going to be annoying as Stephen sends it up the inside. And there's the touch back. It's getting feisty between the championship rivals. They've both been forced wide. That would have been a bit of frustration from both drivers here, giving each other elbows out all the way down. And now Morgan Burkhardt is coming to fight through. I wonder if we're going to see anyone dive into the pits now. If that is the case for Stephen, he's going to need to get rid of Morgan because he's going to have the inside line for the next corner. Morgan having a look around the outside. Stephen needs to get across. Yes, he does. Morgan's right behind, slots in between. Let's see if he comes into the pits. Let's see if both of them come into the pits because one of them might have a meatball flag from that contact. Doesn't look like it. It does look like it. They're all coming in now. And it looks like this race is going to continue after the pit stops. Let's have a look at the track map and get those pit stops up on screen so we can see who's done what. This is very, very feisty from the boys. Chris spun Henry and then rage quit. That's what Ben Morse said. Bye-bye, Christopher, says Isabel Smith. He had a lot of space to himself. That was not great driving at that moment. Mistakes happen. We'll look back at it. But yeah, Chris out of this race. While we're watching the pit stops, we want to see what's happening up front. And here's what it looks like. Look at the train back here. We've got 2 meatball lovers cars getting involved. And that's Joshua Germany up in P5. Now, let's bear in mind that people have stopped. And look at how much time the pit stops cost. They're nearly getting lapped with 1 pit stop done. So I would imagine these guys are going to come in fairly shortly as there's a bit of contact between the Lurchers Gaming car there and the Meatball Lover car of Alpha Henriksen, who's up into P7, chasing down Peter Jones. There's a quick look up the inside of Joshua Germany there in P5, chasing down Ryan Smith in P4 and Kieran Dempsey's there in P3. These two are now coming into the pits. Josh follows them in, as does Peter Jones. It looks like the second wave is coming in. Morgan Burkhardt stayed out, as has Jared Kaler. So those two fully by themselves. Where is the lead train of everyone else? This is Stephen King, Andy Fox and Jake Cranston, who have all made their pit stops. So this is the lead train of people who have stopped. You can see the greyed out dots on the track map. No podium tonight, says Chris. Top Chris 175. Agreed. Definitely not at this pace. 5 laps down. But here they come. The greyed out dots are the people who have just stopped. Are they going to come out ahead? You'd assume so. They were ahead on track at the time. Andy Fox not going to have a look up the inside of turn 1. I'll tell you what, they made the right decision with that pit stop, because they would have served, if they did have a meatball flag, they would have got rid of it with a fast repair. Joshua Germany is coming out behind Jake Cranston. What a race Josh is having. He's made his stop. I mean, it's a bit of a gap now, and he's going to battle Andy Fox's Jake Cranston into turn 3. Oh, Andy needs to be a bit feisty than that if he wants to hold position. But Joshua Germany can see this train. Can he get closer with the slipstream? It will be a hell of a race for him. He'll sound a lot happier if he can hold those positions, because he was disappointed in race 1. He knows he's getting a 5-second penalty for a lap 1 crash. Morgan Burkhardt comes into the pits, as does Christian Rivero, and Tyne van den Wittenbauer are also pitting now. You can see on the track map. But yeah, Josh Germany disappointed with his earlier result. But now, look at him. Only 2 cars behind Stephen King, who started this race well high up. You would assume that this is the lead train, apart from Jared Kaler, who's got a hell of a lead, and Morgan Burkhardt actually is one to watch. Where is he? Somewhere in this pit lane. That's not a great view. There he is. He's leaving the pits. Stephen King is coming down the straight now. It looks like Morgan's going to come out in P2. So he's going to hold that position. I say P2 because I'm pretty sure Jared Kaler is still in the lead of this race once the pit stops resolve themselves. And look at that, quite solidly in P2 as well is Morgan Burkhardt. This is a strong result for the All Sports car. We need that blimp cam again just so I can see it. See it all happening. What is happening behind? More battling from these two. These two are giving... he got disconnected, said Chris. Chris has been disconnected. That answers that question. But look at this. These two are giving each other no inches. The championship battle on track. We haven't seen them fight too much, and when we have, it's often come to blows with a bit of door rubbing. So it's very interesting to see who will come out on top. With 13 minutes in, the pit stops have been made. They can't afford another meatball. The fast repair would have been used if they have them. Bentis says, I want to see them fight. I thought it was Ray Oliver. Yes, it was Ray Oliver that came together with Henry Morse at that time. He's the devil, says someone. I don't know who they're talking about. But Jake Cranston now, look at the gap he's pulling already on Stephen King. He needs to hold that position. Martin Wallace is in the pits. There he goes. We haven't seen that livery much today. Let's have a quick look at that. Where is he? There he is. Jamaican colours on his car. And John Bailiff flying round turn 1 with a bit of smoke. Uses all the track. Oh, that's going to be interesting to watch back, because he's probably... oh, is he going to gain an advantage? He's going to lose out to Kieran, so maybe not gained an advantage there. Kieran's actually had a run into turn 3. Jared Kaler, all by himself, still leading the race, not getting involved in anything. 0 stops, as is Jesus Amundere in P2, and Ika Lequay is now coming into the pits for Lurchus Gaming as well. Orlando Herrell in the other all-sports car by himself in P4, who also hasn't stopped. Is he going to come in? As you can see, the lead train coming round now. No, Orlando Herrell stays out. So the lead couple of cars still by themselves. You got to say, Morgan's actually got still quite the gap on Jake Cranston behind. Why is Germo so far down? He stopped. Sorry, I'm late. TRL says Bentist. Well, Germo actually started Delta for some information. Where is he? He's 7 places up from where he started. Started near the back after a big crash in race 1. But he had a surprising amount of pace here, did Joshua Germany. So he's actually done really well to only be 1 car behind Stephen King, who started near the top of the grid. This is the lead train. We've got a couple of cars who still haven't pit. So Joshua Germany now in P8, behind Andy Fox in P7, Stephen King in P6. Jake Cranston and Morgan Burkhardt, the leader of this train, who have stopped. It's going to be interesting to see where Jared comes out. Mainly because he's been by himself, just putting in the lap times. No slipstream for Jared. He's the grey dot. Entering turn 1, the top point of the track, JC, as Andy Fox goes up the inside. This is going to be a frustrating race for these drivers. I can see it now. I can feel how they feel in the cockpit. They're fighting for a championship, but you cannot stop other people fighting you. This is the thing with battling this close and so many cars. And you know, Andy, as I said, I don't think he's got a podium to his name yet. So Andy Fox there is fighting for his first podium, which he can still get. But at the moment, to get that first podium, he is in the midst of the championship battle for the lead. Jake Cranston now 1 car ahead of Stephen King, who's going to look around the outside of Andy Fox. Morgan Burkhardt, though, the gap has now shut. 0.5 of a second. Had a bit of an issue near the back. What is happening here? Peter Jones, Martin Wallace, they're just both going to go wide. Not much of an issue, just using all the track available and more. Tossing the salad. That little bit of salad on the outside. Peter Jones then on the inside. Ray Oliver had a little bit of an off-track moment as well. Fairly short. This is going to be another track 1 extend. I need to stop listening to these off-tracks if it's just going to be track turn 1 extends like that from Henry Morse up ahead of him. Tyne van den Wittenbauer there in the yellow Pennzoil car. We haven't seen him for a while. Obviously serving a quali ban today, which means he had to start both races from the pits. Did Tyne van den Wittenbauer. So if he can get into the points, he's done a cracking job. It actually says he stopped twice. Has Tyne van den Wittenbauer. Jared Kaler has now stopped. This is the genuine gap. The pink car there. Coming round that corner. Up in the distance. Orlando Herald hasn't stopped yet. And look at that. Jake Cranston has actually just made a move for P2 on Morgan Burkhardt. So this is the actual order from Jared Kaler downwards. Jared's still 3 seconds in the lead. And Jake is going to have to close that gap. He's got 8 minutes to go. But Morgan Burkhardt won't give up that place. Surely Morgan can get involved with the championship leader. Nice rejoin, Bob, says Sway London. And look who's right behind Stephen King. Joshua Germany will be giggling to himself seeing his teammate there right in front of him. Henry Morse obviously down in 19th after the issue earlier in the race. Here they come around the final corner. Coming down the main straight now. Orlando Herald finally pits 18 minutes into the race. He's done a hell of a stint, did Orlando Herald. Made those tyres last. Call him Sergio Perez of the Jetta Grid, because there he goes in the pits, and now he's going to tumble down the order in the all-sports car. I wonder where he'll come out in the end. The other all-sports car, right there on your screens, the number 2 of Morgan Burkhardt, currently in P3, 2 tenths behind Jake Cranston, right behind him. You want to see what it looks like on board? You want to see what he can see? This, well, that's Jake Cranston's view. We don't want to see Jake. We want to see behind him. This is Morgan Burkhardt's view. Over the curbs he bounces. You can see Jake on his left-hand side. He's going to tuck in behind Jake Cranston. Full defend, it says on the back of his car. How apt is that? Now let's see. Can we see the slipstream take an effect on this car? And is he going to send it up the inside this next corner? Look at this. Using all the track available. Gets it into the left-hander. Bit of a dodgy entry line, but he gets a smooth exit. That's all that's important. Gets a little wide entry into Luffield. Can he get a better exit? Their tyres will be absolutely cooked by now. They don't change tyres in the pit stops, so they will definitely be worn at the 19-minute mark of this 25-minute race. Jake Cranston looking to get enough of an exit there. Morgan Burkhardt's going to have his work cut out for him here. Andy Fox, though, right behind. I'll tell you what, there's the gap behind. And it looks like Stephen King is going to go around the outside of turn 1 there. He doesn't go too far off track either. Is Andy pulling over? Has he got a slowdown? No. This is genuine battles. Joshua Germany up the inside of Stephen King. I wonder if team orders will come into play. We've mentioned team orders before. Josh not quite fighting for the championship, but also looking for a strong result. Andy Fox pulling a gap now. This has not gone the way of the Pulsars boys, let's say, this race. And I'm dreading to see what I'm going to see in the steward's room tonight. I was hoping for an early one, but we've seen a few what can we say, bips and bangs and what the hell is S-King and how could you let J Germany past you? So damn sus. No, that's not the team orders. It will be the other way around. Stephen King got back past Joshua Germany. Andy Fox now well within his view again. But you've got to say, the one he's focusing on is now pulling away. He's got a 2-second gap to Andy Fox. Morgan Burkhardt is the only one that can affect Jake's race now. I'll tell you who's not affected. Jared Kaler. Look at him. By himself is Jared Kaler. I'm not sure what else to say about him. There he is. Cheeky livery. The Haynesmobile, I think he called it the other day. 2.5 seconds in the lead. Jake Cranston trying to close that gap. 4 minutes to go. Morgan Burkhardt only 2 tenths behind. Stephen King has just passed Andy Fox. Well, I say that. They're battling. And Joshua Germany's going to make it 3 wide. Surely not. He's going towards the wall. It's going to be tough to pass around the outside there. Joshua Germany gets forced out wide a little bit, but can he get the run on the exit? Not quite. Andy Fox is going to move over, I imagine. Yeah, and they slot in single file, and around they go. Look at all the cars. I'll tell you what, 21 minutes of racing, and you've got a majority of the field still in shot there. as Henry Morse is still battling. Look at these guys near the back. They had the coming together. It ruined both of their races, and now they're fighting for the final couple of points. And Tyne van den Wittenbauer is well involved in that final fight. Can he beat Henry Morse and Ray Oliver? That will be an achievement for Tyne. I will say that. I know it's only for 18th place, but if he can beat those guys on track, he will be happy. Who have we got here? Racing Line. Would you race on the legacy version or the new version? This is the legacy version to match the Simlab calendar. This is currently the Volkswagen Jetta Cup is in sync with the Simlab Production Car Challenge. Tomorrow will be Silverstone National on the legacy layout. And it is the same for the rest of the calendar. That is that bit of information. It's really hard to keep up with chat actually with all of the comments. Stephen King is an author. If you uneducated swines were unaware. Bet Amundere no fuel to make it, says Vossick. Clean diesel, baby, says MCar. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it for the chat. No questions. Jesus Amundere has actually had a better race this time round. He is here. I'll tell you what, this is a good little view actually. Where's the chopper cam? Because there is 3 Lurchus Gaming cars on the same bit of track. Oh, I hope he didn't get a slowdown there. It's a very tight corner that people do not appreciate how much they get a slowdown through there. But this, I'll tell you what, photo opportunities are plenty for the Lurchus Gaming boys. Look at this, 3 of them all on the same bit of track. Yeezus head in the field, Ikalakwe the second in this bunch, and Christian Ribeiro the third in this bunch. They'll be enjoying this little, the Spanish Inquisition over here. Although some of them might take offence to that, because I'm pretty sure Christian is Brazilian. And the other 2 might be Spanish. Can't remember if there's any Portuguese out there. Well, it says Christian Ribeiro. There's the Brazilian flag. Ikalakwe, Spanish flag. That's Peter Jones. He's British. Uses Mundere's just past him. That's why. Spanish. There we go. Lurchus formation like the Romans. Chat is on fire tonight in Twitch. On fire is an understatement. I can't even keep up with the Twitch chat. YouTube a lot more safer. Although there was someone spamming the hi button earlier. We need to go back up to the top end and see what's happening. We've only got 1 minute left. Stephen King is in P4 with Joshua Germany, P5. I wouldn't mind speaking to him again, actually, Joshua Germany, after this, because I'm sure he's going to be delighted with that. He's up 11 places, and I would say he's our biggest gainer, but Jesus Amundere is up 11 places. Martin Wallace is up 10 places. A much better race for Martin. Currently pleb of the week is Martin Wallace, after spinning out by himself last time, twice I think, actually. But here he is today, up in P12. Donny Alpha Henriksen, completely missed him. He's up 14 places in P9. He was near the back at the start. Look at him in this little train, and he could gain more places at this rate. Actually nice to see you guys race one day before the weekly track rotation, and the best Jetta track tutorials out there by far. Thank you, MK. That means a lot. This battle is extremely tight. John Bailiff round the outside. I tell you what, I race these guys regularly in the Simlab Championship, and it doesn't get much tighter than these guys fighting on track. Joshua Germany's past Stephen King for P4. I've missed the end of the race. The time has hit 25 minutes. Jared Kaler's won. Jake Cranston's second. Morgan Burkhardt. Joshua Germany's taken a position from his teammate at the end. He's gone for P4. Stephen King down to P5. Ryan Smith comes home in P6. Jeremy Agard. We need a replay. We need to see a replay of this. Where? Let's go from here. This is Ryan Smith on the inside of Joshua Germany, who holds the inside of Luffield. This would have been a lap back, a few laps back, I reckon. How did Joshua Germany pass his teammate? Typical Germo, said Delta in the chat. Stealing something from a teammate. Although, it looked fairly simple. It might have been a sacrifice of position. I can't say that actually. Last time I said that it wasn't true. He does look like he's still fighting for this. So maybe Joshua Germany has mugged off Stephen King, his teammate, in the end there, and taken P4. But strong result for Josh. Not in the feature, obviously, and this is when they cross the line. So it goes Josh, Stephen, I think that's Ryan, Jeremy, Andy, and look at John Bailiff and Donny Alpha Henriksen. The driver of the day is Donny. It's got to be Donny Alpha Henriksen. Up 14 places. Impressive stuff. let's have a look at the results then. Do you know what? Out of the 9 races, I think I've genuinely missed... Well, I say 9, 18 races, because there's 2 races a night. I think I've missed 3, maybe 4 finish lines. I was watching the timer, and then it just kind of happened. They crossed the line up the front. And before I knew it, race over. Sorry about that. I was just looking for something on my left. So, the feature race results. Here we go. Jared Kaler takes the feature race win. A strong race from Jared. He didn't see anyone. He was by himself. And it's just madness how he managed to pull away on a slipstream heavy track. Who else have we got here in chat? Martin Wallace. Great job, Bob, and great job, Jesus. Classic Germo said F1 Delta. Love those back-to-front challenges. Nice job making up positions, Bob. Look at the support Martin Wallace has had today. Why does he go by Bob? He's the guy who finished 6 places in front of Henry, so they clocked that Henry's fan club is also in the chat a lot. Chris has laughed at that. I think he really... Well, where are we? I appreciate the concern. Top Chris. Okay. Anyway, Twitch chat can keep popping off. I tell you what, you're probably approaching 200 messages by now, which will be a record. But yeah, Twitch chat has absolutely been invaded by Henry Morse and Martin Wallace fans. Lurchus Gaming, I'm surprised you didn't pop up with all 3 of them quite close together on track. I saw you a few times, but definitely not in the spirits that you're used to. Come on, guys. You should have clapped. Let's get that 200 messages. Clap those emojis. Clap those emojis. Put those clapping emojis out there. The race is over. We've done it. Another round. We've got 3 rounds to go. 10, 11, 12. Jared Kaler, feature race win. Jake Cranston, after an elbows-out battle with Stephen King for a majority of the race, takes P2, 1.2 seconds back from Jared in the end. So he closed the gap, but not quite long enough was the race. Morgan Burkhardt, a strong result. 3rd place. He'll be happy with that. Podium, only 2 seconds back from the leader, 1 second back from Jake. Joshua Germany takes P4 from Stephen King in the end, 3/10 of a gap. Ryan Smith, 2/10 back in P6. Jeremy Agard, P7. We didn't see Ryan too much out in the race, actually. We saw Jeremy pop up every now and then. All we saw of Ryan was the number 66 pop up, just once. He was making moves, was Ryan. But as we said, a safe driver, but always finds himself up there, does Ryan Smith. Andy Fox, P8 in the end. He was in contention for a podium, but let's face it, all the cars from... Well, in the end, there was a bit of a gap, but all the cars from Joshua Germany to... let's say John Bailiff or Kieran Dempsey, there's about 1.5 seconds between them. So it's absolute madness, the closeness of the field. You can see in the background there. Donny Alpha Henriksen, P9, I think our biggest gainer of the day. Joshua Germany was up 12 positions. Jake Cranston was up 10 positions. Donny Alpha Henriksen was up 14 positions. Martin Wallace was up 10 positions. Jesus Amundere was up 11 positions. So a good race from them. Kieran Dempsey actually lost 3 positions to finish in 11th. Jesus Amundere is there in 13th. Peter Jones 14th. Christian Ribeiro and Ika Lequay for the Lurchus boys in 15th and 16th. Dan Thornton 17th. Henry Morse, after the earlier spin, comes home in P18. Still gets some points, does Henry Morse. And look at this. Tyne van den Wittenbauer actually finished ahead of Ray Oliver in the end with P19. He can be happy with that. Ray Oliver finished P20. Sebastian Hallmichael, Orlando Herald, Jan Weiswanger and Christopher Smith outside of the points this time round. I think... And correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, I know you're in chat. That's going to be a drop round, right? That's no points. I'm pretty sure that's no points for this round for Christopher Smith in total. But they get 3 drop rounds, of course. It's interview time. We need to get to those interviews. Let's take the results off the screen. Let's get that little interview box up there. And who are we going to speak to? What have I missed? Zero Fox giving Racing, how many more messages do you need? I can't actually see it. It just pops up and says, congratulations, 100 messages, and that was ages ago. Ellen Brown got the clapping emojis out. F1 Delta, make some sub emojis, please. I do need to do that. We reached the threshold to get that done recently as we're approaching 2,000 subscribers here on the Racing Line. Thank you all for your support. Thank you all for being here. It means a lot. And we're nearly at the 2,000 mark. I think we're only about 40-something away. So well done, not to me, well done you guys for following us along on this journey so far. So yeah, sub emojis, I will get on that What else have we got? Racing is racing. Clean and fair is what they want to do. Incidents do happen. Good vibes, says Liz Creates. 0 points for Chris, as he said. Interview, Christopher, says Isabel. Cadared, the eyebrow raise. I think we'll leave Christopher this time, only because he was 18 laps down. He didn't do much of the race. He disconnected in the end. Zero Fox giving racing. Great racing. Another great production. Thank you. Nicely done, everyone. Bad luck, Chris, this time round. And Delta, you got 2,000 subs on Twitch. No, YouTube. I don't even know about Twitch, to be honest. It just goes out on Twitch. And looking at the chat, Twitch has been popping off. Get Jake in there. Good race for Masters of Talk. Look at the battle for P18. This guy's voice. Stop it. Right. Let's go to the interviews. Okay. Here we are then. Dun. Hello? You can hear me? Oh, good. Well, that's alright then, as long as you can hear me. The thing is, it's not popping up in Discord. That's very weird. But we might have to push the interviews back. Let me just try. I will try getting someone in. Let's have a look at... We need to speak to... We do need to speak to some of the drivers. Because it was a hell of a race, and a lot of stuff happened. Just really confused with Discord fully breaking down. We'll try it quickly, but I'm pretty sure I can see everyone hopping around. If we can't get anyone in, then obviously we'll have to push the interviews. We'll have to push the interviews back. But Discord having absolute issues across the board. It's going to be big news, this. It will hit the news at some point, I am sure. Let's have a look who to speak to. I'll tell you what. Let's try bringing him in, and if we can't hear him, it's Jared Kaler. Jared, we're having technical issues with Discord. Can you hear me? It looks like it is a no-go. It's an absolute no-go. That is a shame, because I wanted to talk to some of the drivers, but at least you guys can hear me. It was a bit awkward, obviously, because I'm over here going, hello? But, I mean, well, we made it. We made it to the end. Unfortunately, the end... Well, it's not been ruined. The end of the race was there. I'll tell you what we can do. Since we're not having interviews, let's have a quick look and see if we can find any bits of action from the race to have a quick look back at in the feature. As I said, we can't go back to the previous events, but we can have a look at the current event that we're in. Oh. This is a lot of contact, and it's where Henry Morse went off with Ray Oliver. There they go. Someone saying try it via a different channel. I'm not sure it's working in any channel, to be honest. No. I can confirm Discord is having a mare. Can we have an well, that was it, Cadared. We just saw it. That was the alleged Chris Smith and Henry Morse issue. It was actually a Ray Oliver and a Ray Oliver and Henry Morse issue. Yeah, it looks like a bit of blind vision, doesn't it, folks? It's just sort of Henry was coming across, Ray's still there. It's actually Ray was trying to get back onto the white line when he could have stayed. It's hindsight, isn't it, really? But Henry's been tagged round and they both go out in the end. Let's have a look and see if we can find something else. I'll tell you who did have a big battle was Stephen King and Jake Cranston. This doesn't look like it, is it, though? This will be where Stephen just goes off. Oh dear, oh dear. I don't think we saw this in the race. Oh, Lando Herald just turning across Jesus and Mundere there. Gets a bit of a spin. He's going to keep going. He's going to come across the path of Sebastian Allmichael. Passenger. Small issue there for Sebastian. Can't blame Orlando for the second contact. That is for sure. Jeremy Agard. This will be by himself, I imagine. Or will he be helped? No. Carried a lot of speed in there. Oh, Jesus. He's going to cut that as well. Ooh. That could have been very dangerous there. This is Morgan Burkhardt. And the lead there, actually, going off the track. Someone said something about Tyne van den Wittenbauer, but I can't quite see it, to be honest. I also can't find any of the Stephen and Jake battles, which is a shame. Henry Morse had more off tracks by himself. This is all going to be turn one stuff. There's actually no big issues, but there was a lot of little silly crashes. Very, very little silly ones. Right. I've been... there we go. Zomor Gammon says last few laps. Let's have a look then. This is the back end of the field. Oh, look at Tyne sending it up the inside of Henry Morse there. That's going to go side by side for the next battle. Play it backwards. No. That was nearly a good move from Tyne van den Wittenbauer. Anyway, we like to keep these around the hour and a half mark. Apologies on Discord's behalf for the interviews being off the case today. But thank you for joining us here on the Racing Line once again for round 9 of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. And next time, this is what we're looking forward to. Round 9, Silverstone National is today. Summit Point next week on the 17th of May. Laguna Seca, round 11. And round 12, back to Watkins Glen for the Cup layout. Thank you all for tuning in. Once again, don't forget, actually, we didn't hit the 200 mark, I think. But it didn't come up and say 200 comments. But well done. Good effort. Thank you all for watching. That's pretty much it from me. Keep those likes and comments coming in. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're approaching 2K. And as usual, if I don't see you on track this week, I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace.